Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Epic Flail. On today's show, we're talking about Old World. We're going to talk about a rules conflict we've come across. Is conflict the right word, Luke?
I think conflict's a very appropriate word. Yes.
Somewhat of a rules conflict.
Debate.
And we're also going to chat generally about Old World, how we're finding the game, and a whole range of general Old World discussion. So thanks for joining us. If you're watching us live, you can take part in the show and talk to Luke and I in the chat. If you're watching this not live, then in the description below we will have timestamps so you can jump to whichever part of today's show your heart desires. If you've tuned in and expect to see me and Liam wear sunglasses, say outrageous things and upset people online, we'll see you Monday. Or you might see us Saturday. We're live streaming one of Luke's very own events for the full day, of which Liam is playing, right?
Yes, yeah.
We're going to be keeping it. We're going to be keeping our eye on those boys.
Yeah, someone has to.
Big time. So we're going to be streaming on Saturday, and Meta Mondays is going to be back as normal on Monday. I've just been ill this week and just was wiped out and didn't want to do a show. Coughing and spluttering everywhere. And being nightmare. But it's about time we did some Old World chat on the channel.
Big time.
It's been a bit. I think the last one we did was with Rob quite a few weeks ago now. But the intention is for us to do lots more, isn't it, Luke? Get some game. We want to get some live games on. We want to do more Old World content. So we thought today's a good opportunity to do that.
Definitely.
And we've even mixed up our setup. So we're sat opposite each other, which is nice, rather than two people staring at each other. So welcome. How are we doing, Luke? How are you getting on, mate?
Yeah, good. Very good. Had a pretty nice, pleasant surprise that you bought me a little present of Tomb King chariots. Which, I say a present. I'm sure I've got.
Why can't I point accurately at that?
So that was always nice, just getting buying more Warhammer stuff. So yeah, brightened up my day.
I was surprised. I walked into the shop in Worthing and they had like the skeleton chariots. They had they had 4 boxes of foot Knights of the Realm on foot. Four, and I was like, you can't even get these on the GW.
Like hen's teeth, isn't it?
Yeah. Evening, Telly, my friend. Hope you're doing well, matey. Welcome to the show. Yes, I was quite pleased with that. So I spent a bunch of money. Yeah, you got some stuff there for you to take home.
Oh, appreciate that.
How's your Tomb King's painting going on?
Slow and steady, much like the Tomb Kings. I'm on brand, but because it's quite a challenging army to put together in terms of once you've painted one skeleton, you've painted them all, right? So it's a bit like I want to get a lot done in stages to really tackle it. So there's a lot that's bone coloured at the moment, and I'm then working through painting lots of shields, now the spear tips. So I'm getting there. Good lad. Slowly but surely.
Are they fiddly? Is it quite a fiddly kit?
Yeah. The contact point for the arms is tiny. I can't even think of a comparison. It's very, very fiddly. Very fiddly.
Very skeletal.
Yeah.
I've been making decent progress with those Bretonnians. Well, it doesn't look like it, actually, because there is a lot of grey there, but there is a full unit of Grail Knights painted downstairs and a full unit of Peasant Bowmen. So I switched them out for the Men-at-Arms and the Pegasus Knights, and once they're done, I reckon we're 75% there to getting them on the table.
That's pretty good game. Yeah. I look forward to it.
Although I did buy another unit today, which I now need to paint.
Oh,
that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Those lads. I'm excited about playing Old World. We had a game the other day, didn't we? We had a rumble.
We did. There's a lot of learning involved. That's why I don't know.
Look at this.
You know, I'm a tournament organizer because I've
the blue screen is making that really interestingly disappear. No, it looks quite cool actually.
Put my little bindings on there because after our game, I got so fed up with the fact that you'd ask a question, a perfectly reasonable question, and then you end up just surfing through the book, and it's not always in the right place or where you think it is. So, yeah.
How much did we get wrong? How much did I get wrong in that game?
No, it was me. I was the filthy, horrible, cheating scoundrel.
No, but did I get anything wrong? Because I was worried. Sometimes I'm playing Bretonnians and I'm like, God, that's a bit good. Is this right?
I don't think so. I think you were pretty sound.
Good.
I mean, you called me out on my measuring at one point, and then I got the.
I do that every time. That's nothing.
Yeah, but I was personal.
Really nearly every game I play, whether it be Old World or Warhammer, I'm like, that is not 7 inches or whatever. It's just I've almost got Tourette, measurement Tourette's. I can't help it. I'm like, that's not 7 inches. I'm sorry.
No, but it's good because when you said it and I looked. Because part of I remember when I thought about it afterwards, part of what I was doing was just not watching what I was doing. So I started measuring, and then I was like, "How far away is your stuff?" And then my hand was just getting further forward, and you were like, That's not 6 inches.
Yeah,
it's not 4 inches,
you
it's
don't move both hands at the same time when you're measuring.
Yeah.
Funnily.
No,
You don't really.
it's not how that works.
Yeah, it was good. It was good though. It's a refreshing change from Warhammer 40,000, is it? 'Cause obviously we play a lot of Warhammer 40k and have done for you for longer than me in recent times anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a good. We love 40k, don't we? We make and do a lot of 40k content, but there is just something not only nostalgic about the old world games that I've played, but something that feels like. And this isn't to discredit 40k. In fact, it is to discredit 40k.
Explicitly to discredit 40k.
The following statement is to specifically discredit it. It just feels a bit more strategic, as in like your strategy is slowly played out over a number of turns, and you make a decision in turn two. It's a bit like chess, like you lose you lose a piece in chess early on. You're like, okay, I'm going to regret that for the rest of the game. That I've really defined what I'm going to do strategically in my first second turn.
Yeah,
that can happen with 40k, but then 40k is so killy that like it can just instantly swing, just really rapidly swing and go in another direction. So those kind of micro strategy decisions at the end of the world, you're like, oh, I might have lost a few points there. Like I should have scored an extra 5 on primary. Whereas old world, you're like, oh, that knight unit is never going to get over there. It is only going to be able to engage like those 2 units and gets locked in. But there's something, I don't know, something quite nice satisfying about that as a mechanic.
Absolutely. I like a lot of the rules that they kind of put in that just don't let you kind of run away with the game too quickly. Like obviously things can't, like you say, you can be out of position and there is a learning curve like with any war game, any game, but it's even subtle little things. Like if you enter from reserves in 40k, you can charge immediately, but you can't in Warhammer Fantasy. So it's just a little bit more, it just feels a lot more tactical and planning, and you're executing
it does,
like you're a general a bit more, whereas 40k it feels a little bit more, not more immersive, but different. Just very, very different.
I've had both games I've played recently. In fact, one against Michael in the chat. Hey, Michael, I hope you're doing well, my friend. I had a unit of knights in our game that we played recently that all they did was walk forward, lose models, run away, rally, walk forward, literally the whole game.
Yep.
Walk forward 8 inches, die, turn around, go back. Just that. Relentlessly.
That was your...
But it actually still didn't matter. I was like, oh, that's it. Same when we played Michael. I'm like, oh, this is it. That's it now for me.
It never feels good. It never feels good when you fail a panic test. It never feels good, especially when it's knights failing a panic test. Because if you're like, if there's a unit...
Oh, they run.
Yeah. That's it. But then it's like, answering your question earlier, Swift Stride is a choice. We didn't think it was initially. You were rolling 3 dice, which is part of why you were getting a bit miffed, I think.
That's why they were going so far.
Yeah, but you were like, oh wait, no, I can choose not to roll a 3rd dice and run as far.
That's very good to know.
Yeah, it's very helpful when you're not going the right way.
Like, please don't run off the board. Oh, yeah, off the go. Yeah. When I played Michael, it's the first thing they did. But thankfully, Michael let me not have that. And a real gent. So there's an interesting thing occurring with Old World, I think, that we were going to discuss, or we are going to discuss. In that there is a tendency in the modern gaming world, again, something we touched on a lot on Meta Monday, to find the strongest, most powerful combinations, lists, combos very quickly, so that a game can be played at a competitive level, which, again, me and you really enjoy. We talk about a lot. Like it's been a big part of our reason for playing games is let's find really good lists, let's make them really efficient, let's enjoy the competitive side of the game. And we're used to that in Warhammer 40,000, right? A new codex comes out and it's like, right, what's the strongest possible list we can make and cook up? Like, how can we make this as strong as possible? Old World, obviously, is a slightly different beast in that it's an older game, rule set, although updated and changed quite significantly, but it's still kind of like a legacy game they've brought back to life. It's not that, like, we're going to keep making codexes every... What is it, the moment the release? It's basically every month a new codex comes out for 40k. It's such an aggressive cycle.
Feels like it. It's close to it if it isn't that.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive release cycle. Whereas Old World's like, there it is, lads. All the rules are out. Off you go. So that kind of approach has led to a situation where people now are like, is this how this is meant to work? There are a few kind of like grey areas of the rules, and we're seeing some lists or perhaps even formations, because we've talked about Linehammer before, where people look at it and going, yeah, that doesn't really feel, it shouldn't really work like that. That doesn't quite feel like right. it feels a bit strange, and there's a few gaps in the rules. One that has come up recently is the drilled rule and how the drilled rule can be used.
Yes.
I think we'll get into the details of the drilled rule, and then we'll kind of move from that onto how should Old World be played. Like, what is the kind of... Is Old World a game where you're just going to have to use a bit of common sense with certain rules and be like, that feels and looks broken, it's probably not how it's meant to be played. TOs and communities just don't allow it, or should people play it as, play as written? So we'll progress the conversation onto that. But first, what is the situation with drilled, Luke? What's been occurring? And I'll get it up so people can see it.
Yes. So drilled's kind of a new thing, and in terms of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, at least to my knowledge anyway. I mean, I might be humbled in the comments section if someone knows of previous versions where this rule existed, but for as long as I've been playing, this kind of thing hasn't existed. And essentially what it allows you to do is a free redress the ranks maneuver before you move, if you have the drilled special rule. So maneuvers are defined in the rule book as a certain set of things, and redress the ranks is a type of maneuver. So in short, you can change the number of models you've got in the ranks from the front to the back. So what you can do, and where this starts to then get debate, as you sort of touched upon, that wargamers will tend to do, is they'll try to find the most viable, useful, broken way of abusing or using these kind of things. So if you've got a unit of Chaos Knights, heavy cavalry, for example, that are in marching column, so they've tripled their movement by going
so just describe marching.
column.
So marching column is...
It's longer than you are wide, essentially. So not quite like the Bretonian Lance formation is actually like a proper normal as you would normally be ranked up, but just narrower to represent moving at pace, and it triples your movement. You're not able to charge if you're in marching column, but it gives you a faster way of getting across the table. And the theory being, you go into marching column and you run forwards a bit, and then maybe next turn you're in a position to charge now because you've gone across the board.
Absolutely miles,
Yeah. But what drilled allows you to do rules as written, is to redress the ranks immediately before you move. So it gets around that problem of you then having launched yourself forward but then being unable to charge. So you get yourself into perfect charging position and then use drilled to redress the ranks, and then you can charge as normal. Because if you stayed in marching column normally, you wouldn't be allowed to charge.
And so marching column just prevents charges, full stop. If you're in marching column, you cannot. So the balancing act with marching column is, yes, you get across the table, but then you then have to spend a turn basically outside of drilled, reforming,
exactly,
and then you can charge.
Yes.
So that's kind of the downside, and why everything doesn't just march like crazy and fly around.
Exactly.
So at what point? So you would be in a marching column.
Yep.
You would go across the table.
Yep.
You would go to your next turn.
Yep.
Then you would do drilled to a free redress.
Yep.
And then charge.
Yes.
But do you not declare charges before you move? Like, where's the ambiguity with the current rules? So
this is where people are sort of suggesting that's not right. So you have lots of schools of thought. So this has been very, very hot.
You show me comments, like, we're not going to show them on the screen, but like, there's some pretty intense chat going on online, right? Like,
there is. And I asked about it before coming on the show in various Facebook groups, just to kind of get a measure of...
And they're outside now. People have doxed us.
Because it's playing a game with mates, you can resolve it, and you can use the old GW thing of let's roll a dice. You've not lost anything in that exchange. It's like, whatever.
I absolutely hate that, but I hate the roll the dice thing. But yeah,
you can resolve it in a pleasant way between friends, right? However you decide to do that, whether that's breaking a chair over their head or rolling a dice, like, it's up to you.
Poisoning,
it's fine. So, but when you're in an event situation and you're playing against a stranger and you firmly believe the rules is intended one way, firmly believe it's intended another way, that's where you can have a problem, because neither of you are necessarily doing anything wrong, but it's how do you resolve it? You both think it's right, and the game could hinge on that decision point. So what do you do? So yeah, the where this is come sort of apart at the seams a little bit is a lot of people are reading into how exactly what you were sort of alluding to, how you what is a move? Is a charge move a regular move, or is it just referring to moves in general? Does it encapsulate your charge moves as well? Because the drilled move is stating you get to do this thing immediately before you move. So it would be whether or not you declaring a charge. Declaring a charge is not the same as making a charge move. So you can declare a charge, and this is if you were to flip up on the screen there, like who can charge and eligibility to charge. If you're in marching column, you're allowed to declare a charge, but you just can't make a charge move, which is a very different thing.
Why is that a rule? So you're in the marching column, you can declare a charge.
Because that's how it lets drilled work. You can declare the charge, and then if you go to this, if you stayed in marching column, you wouldn't be able to charge. So you can do all sorts of fun things, like be moving around the board if you're frenzied, for example. If you're frenzied, you have to just declare a charge. If you're in marching column, even though you can't.
Even though you can't actually make the charge move.
So there's also weird things. Or you could panic a unit off the table. You could declare a charge against a unit, and it would have a charge reaction to either stand.
Oh, right. So even though you couldn't actually do the charge. Again, that doesn't seem like...
That doesn't seem like it's right.
It seems as though...
I'm not too sure on that one, if that's real. But
Sure,
there's weird things. I'm just thinking like things that you can technically maybe do. So yeah, don't... I'm not 100% sure.
No, don't worry.
But that's how it will work, because you can declare the charge and then change your formation, and then by the time just so because you've got your declare charges step and then resolve charge reactions, then move charges. So you declare your charge, resolve reactions, and then before you move the model, i.e. make your charge move, you get your free redress.
You get the drilled kicks in, you do the redress the ranks, and then you charge.
Yeah.
What's the kind of split like on this with the community? Like how because this sort of brings us into why we wanted to kind of move on to talk about the way the game should be played. That doesn't fit. Like, the purpose of the marching column is to de-incentivize you doing something exactly like that, right? It feels weird to be able to absolutely fly down the table at a ridiculous speed and then still be at a charge.
Well, it's a whole turn's gone by since then.
Well, you've got into position. It's your turn.
Yep.
Comes back and can charge. And that unit could charge.
That unit could charge.
So you
pay points for that ability as well. So it's not like it's a thing.
No, sure. You have to get drilled on the unit.
Yeah.
And how common is drilled?
I think it's generally reserved for things that are a bit more elite. So I think Chaos Knights have it, and I'm not too sure beyond that. I don't think anything in Tomb Kings has it off the top of my head. I believe.
Good.
Maybe Tomb Guard. I'll have to double check.
I feel like this. What was the second bit? Because we've got another slide with. Oh, here we go. This has got marching column. Who can? There's a dwarf elite unit. Dwarf elite infantry gets it. Bincy, I'll come back to your comment in a second, matey, while we've chatted through this.
So to kind of come back to what your question was around it. So lots of people are basically saying a charge move is not a move, and drilled is saying before you move, not before you charge move. So just because it's not very clearly written in the book doesn't mean you can then apply that to the charge move, because that's a charge move, not a move. So that's an argument. That's an argument against being able to do it. Another one is maneuvers are completed in the remaining moves subphase, and it's saying you get a free maneuver, i.e. redress the ranks. When do you perform that? In the remaining moves subphase. But it's like, again, the drilled ability is a special rule, kind of allowing you to do something additional. Like all special rules, they kind of give you the ability to do something else. Like the hatred special rule lets you re-roll attacks. You wouldn't normally get to do that. That's a bonus. It's all the special rules basically break the rules, right? So that's there's the sorts of camps that people are kind of in, and the one that my first reaction to it was when I heard about it, when my mate first said to me, I just was like, no, because you can't. Historically, the game for me, you do your charges. You resolve that at the beginning, and nothing happens before charges. That's your first thing that you do. So that sort of heuristic in my head, that shortcut of how we play the game, was just very firmly entrenched in my mind. So it just seemed woefully unnatural that you'd be able to do anything before that. So that's where my brain went straight away. And then looking at the rules, but rules as written, it is clear to me, rules as written now, whether they've been written clumsily or not, that you can do it. But
your brain tells you can do it, but what does your heart tell you?
I think at the moment my heart says we don't have enough information. I think we can.
That's such
do
a
it.
political answer. You're such a politician.
Yeah, I think you can do it. The reason I think you can is because it's something new, and I think that's where the challenge is.
What do you mean it's something new?
Because this rule didn't exist before. If
Okay,
it was a really good example,
Return to the Old World, it appeared in Warhammer Ancient Battles. I think you said that to me.
Warhammer Ancient Battles, yeah, which is like this but not this.
There's bits of it.
Yeah. And I think you could do it in Ancient Battles. So
what you could do the march, drill, charge.
I believe so. Yeah, I never played Ancient Battles, but that's what the internet seems to be sort of saying. Oh, you can take precedent from the fact that you could do it in that game when it appeared. So what I would
knowing that they looked at that game, that does suggest that the reason drilled exists is exactly for that.
Yeah.
How strong does it make that knight maneuver then? I mean, Chaos. So I've played against Chosen knights. Oh man, they're so annoying. Actually,
they're very tough.
They're so annoying. They're so annoying. Like they have 2 up save, don't they?
Yeah.
And Tim's had the mark of Nurgle. Oh god, they're all. In fact, they're awful. They're so annoying.
Mark of Nurgle is good.
You have to re-roll
sixes.
You have to re-roll 6s to hit. Yeah. On a game where there's very few re-rolls and like you're hitting on I think they're weapon skill 5.
That's the thing. I looked over that first, and then at second glance you're like, hold on. Whoa,
it's so good.
You're cutting that by a third if you're hitting on 4s. That's annoying.
Hitting on 4s, re-rolling 6s, and then they're 2 up save. It's like, man, they're so annoying. So I guess the ability to launch them down the board and then fling them at your next turn feels strong.
It's good.
But then, drilled is just a good ability, and that is strong. It doesn't feel completely bonkers. Oh my god, I can't deal with it, because again, it depends what has drilled. But if we're just thinking through the chaos setup, so we've got dangerous unit of Chaos Knights.
So that's 21 inches, I believe. Their movement 7. So they're basically going almost 2 foot across the table.
It's decent. But one thing, I mean, Chaos do have a hell cannon, which is a problem. But we know from our games that we've played so far that artillery is pretty random in this game.
Yeah,
it's pretty rando. So Liam, a good friend of ours, played War Machine with him for many. Oh, there we go. I mentioned the War Machine word. People that watch Meta Monday will be angry. He did have, I think he had 4 bolt throwers in his list, or he definitely had 3, and now it's down to 1.
Yeah, which blew my mind a little bit.
Which, if Liam's taking stuff out, Liam isn't like let's make a fluffy foot. Liam will been refining his list for long time now, and he literally just entered the chat as I was talking about him. Evening, my friend. I was just talking about your decision to remove bolt throwers and the possible, not weakness, but just artillery being a little bit hit and miss, and it not being this I'll take 4 cannons and just blow everything off the table.
Yeah.
Again, Michael, I think Return to the Old, I think it's a similar thing where a lot of artillery in the list, a lot of war machines, and then actually a bit. So anyway, Liam, really interested to hear your thoughts on the drilled rule. Liam, Luke and I are discussing whether a unit can march and then in the following turn, whilst it's still in march formation, still declare a charge, because it seems as though you can declare a charge even though you're not able to make the charge because you've been in a formation. And then before you move the models, drilled kicks in and you redress the ranks into a chargeable formation and then charge. Lots of we haven't just made this up, Liam, lots of chat about it online on the Facebook groups. Very, very lively. Love to know your thoughts. Liam's just said, I spent 100 points on drilled in my army for tonight's game with dwarfs. Read into that what you will, which suggests you probably can do it, and Liam's been exploiting it. Liam Jordan has entered the chat.
100 points.
If he's spent 100 points in it, then you could probably do it. And I mean, there's something about that I don't know. That I kind of like the idea of I can imagine in my head the thematic of a really well drilled unit running at full speed and then last minute launch themselves into a formation. And I guess the point we're making around the Chosen Knights is might be different in other factions, and yes, I know they've got hell cannon, but we're just talking about the unpredictability. That was what I was looking for of artillery. Just maybe chuck a screen up.
Yeah. So two Scorpions are 4. Yeah.
They don't have. They don't have like insane amounts of
No.
shooting.
And what was that unit that you said like absolutely spanked your Bretonians, the Pistoliers, Outriders, something or other? Like absolutely.
Oh, Michael's. I don't know who trained them. But like bloody Sharps rifles. It was like,
shoot 'em.
I think Sean Bean was leading this unit. Just literally like, that's 4 knights dead. Oh, okay, cool. That's 2 left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharps rifles. They were absolutely bonkers. They were the hand gunners on horseback. I mean, he's in the chat, so
I feel
probably.
like they're called Outriders or Pistolers. Yeah, they're scary. So against like knights, like or Hellblaster volley guns. I mean, they're not very reliable, but like just shoot them. Like you got to turn to shoot them, and you can
Oh, Outriders, yeah. Michael said Outriders do work if they get lucky. Yeah, fair. They did on that game. Like the absolute superstars, like snipers, taking their heads off. So I think again, I really want to hear from Liam because of the amount of games that he's had in it. You're kind of. I've come to this fairly. I've not looked into it loads. I was kind of this is what I was hoping from the chat that you would really clearly lay out the situation, and it does sound like it's probably totally legit because of its history in Warhammer Ancients and the fact that you could do this in Warhammer Ancients and the fact that Liam has taken 100 points worth of it in his latest unit. Because what other examples would that be good? Would the free redress be good if it wasn't to then charge? Liam says drilled is prior to move. If it was if it was during a charge, you can't. Drilled is prior to move. If it was during a charge, you can't. There you go. Liam's side on the other side. It's very divided online. I mean, there is a very, very, very fierce debate about this in the Facebook groups. Liam, is it something that's been FAQ'd or anything, Liam, or is there a clear part of the rule book that Luke and I could get up? Boss Grant says, seems like we should just try playing with drill as it is for a while, and if it's too oppressive, it can be changed later.
It's a good shout.
Liam says, dial me in if you want to walk through it.
Oh, nice.
Let's dial him in. This is the beauty of doing live shows, you see, folks. We just ring people up. We get in our boys, and they give us a rundown.
I get the impression it is, like, rules is written, it's there. But
hang on, Liam. Hang on, I've just got to... Luke, you're saying what rules was written?
I think rules is written is fairly clear, but I like that take of and leads to that take of just play it, see how it goes. There's going to be other armies that don't necessarily have access to it.
You there, Liam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here he is. How on earth have you spent 100 points on drilled and it's not as broken as we've just been talking about? I don't believe this.
Well, it is what you say. It's do the charge.
It's what?
So the way it works is the free redress for ranks.
Yeah.
Is prior to a move.
Yep.
So if it wasn't prior to a move, you couldn't do it. But because it's prior to a move, so before moving,
because you can't manoeuvre during a charge.
Okay.
Correct.
So you can't do it.
No, he's saying you can do it.
Oh, you can do it. Oh, right. That's why I spent 100 points. Liam, I misread you in the chat. That really surprised me that you would spend so many points on something that's clearly broken. Knowing you so well, it's not like you'd spend so much, you know what I mean?
Liam, how do you respond to that? But one of the things that I've seen, which I think is quite interesting, and I'm not too sure how much of it's like mental gymnastics of people coming up with this argument, but a lot of people are saying it's a charge move and a normal move are two different things, or a regular move that you're doing the remaining moves part of the phase they're not the same thing. And so when it's referring to before a move, it's not referring to a charge move, as that's very different.
Move's a move. So at any point where you can make a move, and it says the word move, then you can redress the ranks.
So you're not buying into that argument at all?
No.
No, it's good. It's good. There's no.
I love him.
It's not going to hurt at all for Games Workshop if they do bring out another FAQ at some point to address it and spell it out clearly, and that will obviously end the arguments either way. But as it's written now, and we can't know the intent, I can't see why not.
How strong is it,
Like
Liam?
it's a really,
How good is this? How good is this ability?
it's really good in some scenarios, not good in others. It's potentially nasty when it lets you change a charge arc from a front to a front to a flank.
Oh,
for
that's
example.
cool.
That's that. I can
Oh,
imagine
nice.
that
You could
catching
kind of
me
hop into a flank.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when that is verging on not great, but if you know that the enemy can do it, just don't position in the turn prior to allow them to do it.
What do you think of the sort of with the example we were chatting about was like chosen knights or whatever launching themselves down the board and then next turn flipping into a formation? But I mean that feels strong, but it doesn't feel completely ridiculous. The sky's falling down.
It's a unit of 1 wound. That's part of 50-point models. I want them to be good.
Yeah, we were saying that they're good. We were really liking Tim's list with the Nurgle chosen in with the reroll 6s and with the weapon skill 5 feels pretty punchy,
Really
pretty punchy unit. But yeah, you pay the points from, don't you? They're an expensive unit.
Yeah, definitely.
Give us while we got you on the line, Liam. Give us how did so you were at one of the first big Old World events, weren't you, at the weekend?
Yeah, definitely.
How did it go? What was the atmosphere like? How were people finding the games? What were people's general thoughts and comments on it?
Really chilled. It had new people to the hobby, people who had played 8th, 7th, 9th age. What's the other one called with the homebrew one? Can't think. But yeah, good mix of people.
Cool.
And some people who were definitely there to win and had lists to win.
What were some of those cheekier lists? What were some of the kind of stronger lists or combos you were seeing?
Well, the winner took a bunch of fanatics and magic and war machines with orcs and goblins.
Okay.
And fanatics are very powerful upgrade for units of night goblins that you need specific answers for. And his opponents didn't have that answer.
Fair.
Second and third were both Chaos Dragon lists with a 9-killable Dragon Lord and units of Chaos Knights, and it just dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you've got answers for dragons, then we're not great.
It's a bit of a
never not great,
skew.
but
yeah.
If you're only playing 3 games and there's 40 people there, you're going to have some of the odd matchups, aren't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Cool. It was good to see the pictures. For people that don't know, we do have a Discord where we share a lot of the stuff that we're up to on both Old World and 40k, so do join the Discord, the chat. The details of it are in the channel. So yeah, go join the Discord. Liam, we appreciate you jumping on, clarifying Drilled, giving us a quick update on the tournament that you're at. Where was it? Was it at TSN?
Yeah, no, it was at Sanctuary Gaming in Sutton.
Oh, it was at Sanctuary. Oh, right, nice. Cool. Well, we appreciate you, Liam. Thanks for clearing that up. We're going to post on the Facebook, so I expect to get lots of furious abuse from people that disagree with you, as the internet likes to do a lot of. But we appreciate you jumping on, mate, and clearing that up. That's very, very handy.
No problem.
Take care, my friend. Speak to you in the chat. Bye.
Bye.
There we go. Liam Jordan has spoken. I trust him. I trust his analysis.
I think you touched
in line with you as well, which is reassuring.
Yes, and I think where you said about what does your head think, what does your heart think? I think my gut reaction the first time I heard about Drilled, that was my heart answer of no, that just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. But I think that was quite a succinct way of putting it. Is we can't know what the intent was. So any kind of reaction like that, that's me ruling by intent, whether I'm doing it consciously or otherwise. It can't possibly be like that because of reasons in my head. That's not the same as what's on the page. And I normally, as a TO living in England, I like to rule as
a TO, not an Italian.
No, I rule as rules is written.
Yeah.
like 99.9% of the time, unless something is like so wildly egregious, it's just absolute hot nonsense. And I don't think it falls into this camp. And I don't like to rule by intended generally, because it's just yeah. I mean, I don't want to trash talk Nova tournament.
No, trash them. Who are they? I hate them. Who are they?
It's their big American tournament.
Oh, yeah.
They're just doing all sorts of changes to the composition of the game. And
Old
it's
world.
like old world, yeah. And it's like, it hasn't been out 5 minutes, and they're doing all sorts of things. I mean, I want to do a rule of 3 just to kind of limit some of the wackiness. But I mean, if the vibe that we're seeing from some of these events is we're just not seeing that in the meta, then maybe we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, don't mess with it. The rule of 3 feels... No, I should have asked Liam that. Liam, if you're in the chat, just let us know, did they implement any...
I don't think he did. I think he played it... I was chatting to him in Discord the other day. He said it was pretty much just out of the book, more or less. And he said there wasn't shenanigans, really, which is good.
Were there any other things you considered from a TO perspective about just putting a bit of a handle on or a limit on? Yeah,
you got to wear a silly hat.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was an Age of Sigmar thing, wasn't it? Back in the early days. No, in terms of old world... I ain't wearing no hats. In terms of old world, I want to let it just exist for a bit. There are 2 other rules that are irking me. The first one is, and again, this falls into the camp for me of just like obvious oversight. So like Demon Princes can purchase a magic level, but they come with, as standard, you can't change it initially. I think it's either light or heavy armor. And if you're wearing armor, you can't cast spells. So why on earth could he buy? So that's just, and historically, they've always been able to cast spells. That's just a thing that Demon Princes could do. Why on earth is obviously that's clearly an oversight. So I'm going to errata that in the TO thing for anyone who wants to think Demon Prince, because it's just stupid. So there's that one, and then Plague of Rust is a spell. The way they've referred to ward saves and regeneration saves, they refer to them as armor values, and Plague of Rust specifically reduces your armor value. So whereas before it was just something that affected your physical armor, like it was rusting away, like that's the fluff of it, and the actual real game effect. Now, rules as written, it reduces your armor, ward, and regeneration saves, which is just horrible, really horrible. And again, rules as written, I could take a view. Rules as written, that's what the spell does. But that is wild. That's written like that.
Sounds brutal. Vinci says, does the Demon Prince not have the Chaos Armor rule?
I've been told he doesn't. If that's wrong, then that's wrong. And
if that's wrong, I'm putting Liam's address in the chat. Liam says, end of the day, I'm not really, by the way. As you said, you're the TO. As long as people know what to expect, then no one can moan. Options there for everyone. And they didn't have a rule of 3 at the event. Think it would have affected a single list in the event.
And I think that's a nice thing about Old World as well. Like, Orc speed buggies were really good for a time, and one of the top 40k players took this list and was spamming speed buggies, and then people were like, oh yeah, got to get speed buggies. And had that not been fact almost immediately, the world and his wife would have started to just have all these speed buggies in Orcs. But I just don't think you get that vibe in Old World, or at least I haven't seen it, and I don't know that that's going to be the way that it's going to continue, but I get that impression. People just want to play the game that they love and have a nice time, so you're not going to get someone necessarily thinking, right, I've got to buy 18 gyrocopters, let's go. Someone might, but I don't think it's going to be that frequent.
And I think if someone said, you were like, oh, let's have a game, and you're like, yeah, sure, mate, what's in your list? 18 gyrocopters. You might be like, might be all right for a game, actually. I don't
yeah, on second thoughts,
I'm not sure I'm quite up for that game.
Yeah, got some painting I need to do.
It makes me feel old, actually, just thinking about Old World. Because I feel quite old about it in that I just think it is a game where there are probably some lists and formations that you just won't play them. Whereas my mentality from Wargaming has always been like, if you can take it, break. You know what I mean? Like, play as aggressive and competitive as possible. But the old world rule set isn't really, not so much the rule set, but the armies are not really primed for that, are they? Because it is more like take something that's going to be, going to give a enjoyable experience. But as Liam mentioned in that tournament the weekend, the people that are going to finish top at the moment in a I guess a narrow meta, because not everything's out as well. That's the other thing to consider and think about. A lot of the stronger lists and stuff that people want to take, they can't take, so they're just kind of cobbling together whatever they've got.
People have still got rebasing to do as well. I think there's a bit of a lag. Like the people that have got their old stuff, they're just going to be excited they can play it, and they're going to be playing it on old bases and just slowly building an army that looks like an old world army now, because that might look different to what their 8th edition army was.
Yeah, true. There's a couple of chats from someone called Adrian in the chat. Welcome, mate. It's got double A, so I think it's Adrian. What is the point of gaining charge on a pursuit move into a fallback in good order if you don't get the benefit of lances or the initiative bonus? What's the point of gaining charge on pursuit move into a fallback in good order?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I'm not sure I understand that question either, Adrian.
Gaining a...
He's asked another question, which might be... Oh no, this is probably an easy one.
Okay.
Adrian coming in hot with a challenging question. Is it a riddle, that question? Oh, Liam's answered. You get both. Why doesn't fleeing as a charge reaction cause your friendly units to panic?
I thought it...
Page 145. Initiative bonus is only gained on the turn that you move to charge.
Yeah.
But having gain charge is in reference to the combat on the following turn. Also, per the FAQ, it is an ongoing combat.
Okay. Yes.
Don't worry, Liam will tidy these up. We got rules master Liam. Liam, answer both those questions for Adrian, please, mate.
Just not sure what he's asking.
I think it's about lances when because it's when you because the lance only gives the strength bonus. On the first
I'm with you now. This happened
combat.
with us, if you remember, when you charge. Oh, actually, we didn't get a charge. No, I think you wipe that unit out. So when you charge normally with lances, you get your plus whatever strength bonus.
Is it plus
2?
Plus 2 strength minus 2 AP.
So say you charge me with your lance unit. You beat me by combat, but I might be unbreakable or just fall back in good order, whatever. And I go back 2 inches, and then you close the gap. You follow up and do that. You count as having charged, I believe, and you should then still get all of the bonuses inherent with that.
Liam says lances get on the turn you charge, not that it's the first round of combat. So if you go into a FBI go unit, you
fall
count as charging. Oh yeah, you fall back in good order unit. You count as charging, so get the lances / initiative bonus.
Yes.
You wouldn't if they GG gave ground. So gave ground, no.
Oh, you wouldn't
fall
get
back
them.
in good order, yes.
Oh, okay. So I took my... I didn't actually check this when I played the other day, because I will never fall back in good order being undead. So I just go back, and then so I just give ground, essentially.
Oh, so you will... That's quite good then into knights. You'll just absorb the lances and just waddle back.
Yeah. But my opponent just said, oh, that counts as having charged again. And I thought that was the case as well, so we just carried on and it kept on getting the lance bonus.
Oh, that might be what we did as well.
I think it might have been, but then there was... the charged were a mess. Like, by the time you got there, it was just like...
We had just like a big crunch and just like stuff flying everywhere.
Bretonian sandwich, it wasn't good.
Bretonian sandwich, I'm so happy with that Bretonian lord with a 2-up save, re-rolling ones. Like, he's just sat up there. He's such a he's such a noble beast.
Noble beast.
Yeah. I feel old world. I said it when I did a stream talking about a Bretonian list. You just want a good general in this game. You don't want to be dying easy and giving away 100 points. And for that reason, you want him or her or they, whatever pronoun they choose.
Yeah.
That you want them to do a bit of work, right? You want them to be taking names.
Absolutely.
You want to be hunting that Tomb King general. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be you want to be like, right, where
is he? I've got the dragon model now. So for more 2,000 point games,
here we go.
We can have a nice fight if you want.
How strong is it? Is it going to be bonkers?
It's good enough, mate.
Would it kill him?
Yeah. So I actually got AP on my weapons. That was the problem. I couldn't get through a 2-up save because I just didn't think. We just threw an army together. I didn't think about AP, so I had nothing really other than the War Sphinx, which kind of is woefully outmaneuvered by anything with wings. Like it's just like
what's over there? What's flapping around?
Yeah. And actually, even in the combat, I think where it did finally get to you,
it was into some Grail Knights. Did it hit some?
Oh, it's Grail Knights. Yeah. You just went, oh, ward save, and I was like, cool. So yeah,
ward saves are great in this game. Like, from playing 40k a lot, where you just get that one save. So it's nice to just a nice little clean up save to be like, come on.
Yeah.
Especially especially a creaky chair, especially a 5-up. If it's a cheeky hit.
That's why you see the Talisman of Protection quite a lot, generally on what things you want to survive, like on characters. You'll see Talisman of Protection. I think there might be a
6-up ward. No,
5-up
ward. Yeah. Return to the Old says Tomb Kings are allegedly the strongest faction at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
They seem pretty good.
I mean, for the longest time, they were absolutely poo, and I keep seeing and hearing that they're amazing, and I think they got some good rules. I think just being immune to psychology, unbreakable generally is quite good, and
always hitting on 5 is nice on the bowman as well. You just get work out of them.
Yeah,
charging around, lobbing bows.
They've been my favourite units actually. The skeleton archers just literally rolling, wandering around. They're manoeuvrable for Tomb Kings, and they just stand in the way. And you can do some interesting things with skirmishes of just sending, like, again, against Chaos Knights, against that missile unit, I would just park them in front at an angle. Because with skirmishes, when you charge a skirmishing unit, you have to basically, as soon as you hit the first one, that's where you rank up against. So you can basically plop the first one in front of them in a really annoying way and angle it to the side and send them in a direction you don't want them to go in. Or they can't go around you very well. So
nice. Liam's answering out rules queries in chat. You got to love it. Telly asks, where are Wood Elves at the moment? They were pegged as being potential problem child. I believe that on our Discord, there's just loads of memes. It's a trap. Here we go. I can get this up on the screen.
I think Wood Elves are probably a high skill cap army, though.
That's really small, actually. Can I? That's probably a bit too small. Let me download it and then I'll make it. I'll make it big.
There's an open in browser button. I don't know if that's gonna on the bottom.
So I'll just save it and then make it big. Yeah, but a lot of people worried about Wood Elves, weren't they? I think I was saying like, oh, Wood Elves are going to be really broken. Wood Elves are going to be really.
In editions gone by, I found them eternally frustrating.
Oh yeah, I've driven Telly mad with Wood Elves. I've tormented him.
Yeah, awful. Really, really like super frustrating. Like Chaos Warriors just limping towards them, going, and then you just get shot to pieces.
They were completely stupid, if I'm honest. They were completely bonkers, weren't they?
I think once people figure them out, that is a faction I've kind of.
There we go.
Intimidates me a bit.
That took me a while for some reason. Win rate stats, 17th of March 2024. Tomb Kings were at the top on 61%. Wood Elves
second, yeah.
57.
Maybe they're already there.
Tomb Kings of Bretonnia. The best faction, 55. High Elves, 52. Vampire Counts, 49. Orcs and Gobbos, 47. Warriors of Chaos, 47. Empire, 41. And Dwarves, 38. I mean, it's not going to be a huge. It's very, very early on. It's very early on with a big spike of people playing Tomb Kings and Bretonnia.
Yeah. I think Liam said it might have been Liam or somebody else, but said
on the Discord.
On the Discord, said something interesting about dwarves, and that's people basically playing dwarves how they used to play dwarves, and
7 war machines.
Yeah, and that's not. Yeah, to your point, that's not how you're going to get the best out of them in the new old world. So
there's a real lack of rerolls in the game. The war machines I've seen, it's just like. Although Empire, when I was playing Michael, there is a gunnery guy that gives him a reroll.
I'm so glad that they haven't just done that back in, because that was just a bit of a pain point for just my own just personal experience. Just like I didn't enjoy that the laser accuracy. It's like being shot by a las cannon instead of a great cannon. You just think what? There's no hope.
Yeah,
you're just going to get blasted off the table.
The bit that feels really important for that balance element for me is there might be some bits and bobs that TOs have to kind of micromanage and implement things. The rule of three, maybe, from Liam's experience at the weekend, is like wouldn't really have changed a great deal. But one thing that feels really important is just like good terrain, tables set up properly, and not. I've seen lots of games with people playing online. It's literally just like a desert. It's just like totally flat. I'm like, oh man, you got to have something like.
Yeah.
A hill maybe in the middle just to give a little bit of line of sight blocking, or like a hill on one side to try and create some, strategy in terms of people taking sides or going first.
I'm a big believer in impassable, whether you go with a high linear obstacle or you just have like a giant rock or whatever, like something to make it so, you're not just running at each other and you've actually got funnels, channels, things you can do, things that block line of sight. It makes a huge difference. I think the rulebook's actually done quite a reasonable job of spelling that out for people as well. Like if you actually, and again as a TO, it's something I'm very aware people just don't do. But if you actually read the terrain bits and how to set up a battlefield, which often people just don't do, they just turn up and then it's just roll dice, whatever, which is totally understandable. Just want to get on with it.
Sure.
But yeah, they do a good job of spelling out what a good amount of terrain is, and I think that's worked in the ones that I've played. I've done the practice games that I've played. You definitely want something a bit more around the middle and making it good.
I fear player place terrain.
Yep.
I hate it in 40k. I think it's stupid in 40k. I think it'd be pretty bad in Old World.
Yeah.
It would reinforce the kind of like, I'll just sit at the back. I'll set this hill. Oh.
The first game I ever played in a club environment was against this absolute. Go
on, are you going to name them?
No. I won't,
who is it? God, do I know?
No, I don't even know where they are in the world anymore. Paths haven't crossed since to do it. But basically said, Luke needs a practice game. Do you want to just sort of get into this? Like first time at the club, and it was like, okay, play it, brilliant. So I'll set up the terrain. I'll just put a hill in that corner and a hill in that corner. Is that cool? I'm like. Obviously, I was like,
yeah, all right then,
yeah. And then he's just setting his artillery up on the thing. I was just like, and I look back at that game as obviously after I realised, I was like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Why? They didn't need to do that to beat me. Like I was just there with like my half-painted army, like brand new, like.
They're the worst. Those characters are the worst. There are two types of people you don't want at a club. You don't want Death Eaters. People that are just so annoying to be around that like they drive people out of a club.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get, me and Liam have talked about this before, like you can do something about it. The other group are the kind of like, they're just going to not give you a fun experience.
Yeah.
I'll just set this game up so that I can shoot you off the board without you being able to do absolutely anything. There might be, I guess the old world crowd does feel a little bit older and more mature. Generally, if we were to stereotype the group, it does feel like it's, as Liam mentioned, it's people that have played previous editions, have been around for a bit. They're not like kids that have like, I've bought my Tomb King army. Which I'm sure there are kids. That's great. That's not like an anti-negative thing. I'm sure there are, but on the whole, it's people that were like, oh Warhammer Old World, great. Like, Warhammer Fantasy, straight back in.
I think in that realm, though, you also got a non-zero number of people that are kind of like Angry Man yells at Cloud from The Simpsons, just really like, you must play it this way. That's how we play, and it's So there's positives and negatives, but overwhelmingly the vibe I get from people is pretty chilled. Like I was blown away by, as I essentially shared what we're doing today on the thing, and lots of people were just kind of like, just really generally positive. Like do what you want or just agree. But there's dangers about playing rules as intended, and I'm sitting there thinking this is all really actually quite sensible and controlled and metered responses, and actually for the most part aligned with kind of where I'm leaning anyway. But even the stuff that wasn't, it's all just like really, really positive, and that's just really nice to see.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, Telly says it should be sponsored by Saga. It's the old.
Yeah.
You do get like I always found the sort of like Warhammer Ancient crowd could be a bit spiky. Do you know what I mean?
Oh really? Yeah.
A couple of veterans in there. But yeah, no, it does feel like a good community, doesn't it? I think it's a good.
Well, they wear in their military gear.
Yeah.
Cosplay. Yeah.
Yeah. The boots and all. Do you know what I mean? It's coming serious set of lads. It does feel. It feels nice talking about Old World, thinking about Old World, painting some old world up, playing games that are not painted yet, but as soon as they are, we are going to get them on the stream, and we're going to have a lively streaming community. We've got some tournaments coming up down here in the south.
Yep. That's
so we're going to be later in the year, which is cool. So yeah, we're definitely going to see more of it on the channel. Aren't we? It's something that we're frantically working on behind the scenes alongside all our 40k stuff.
Yes. There's even some in Canterbury. I forget the name of the guy, but I don't think I've met him. If I have, I can't think. But he does 40k ones primarily, but even sort of in the Kent way. And he started to do old world ones. So it's really. I think there's definitely like a buzz and a bug about the whole game, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's great. More cheers to that.
Mm.
Thanks for people that joined us live, as always, to chat through. If you've made it to the end of the video, please give us a like if you've enjoyed the show. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you're not a member, please think about becoming a member, particularly if you watch our live shows on a Monday and a Thursday. We have Meta Monday back on Monday after... Oh, well, no, the next thing we're doing was just streaming on Saturday. We're streaming a one-day event, incursion event. We're streaming a full day of Warhammer 40,000, watching all the characters that you've seen on the show, whether it be on the podcast or the live streams. They're all going to be there, so we're going to be filming them and winding them up, trying to distract them whilst they're playing, and generally being a nuisance, but bringing some good live content. And then we've got Meta Mondays on Monday, and then on Thursday we have the league. We've got the quarterfinals, the semi-finals. We've got the semi-finals of the league.
The Invitational, yes.
Of the Invitational on Thursday, which me and you both got kicked out of, but we did our best. Sorry to bring that up, but we both lost. I lost by a single point. Like, that is so annoying. But yeah,
I think my game was quite close as well, actually.
Every game was insanely close. Yeah, it's been bonkers games.
It's good. I didn't get a sense of like any kind of like just going through the motions of the games or whatever. It was really nice. It was really good, and a nice variety of armies as well. So
Liam's done a good job of getting some diverse characters. So we'll get that done, and we'll crack on with more 40k content. But there will definitely be some old world streams coming on the channel. I saw Return to the Old World mention in the chat that he's working on a video, a Monday style vid coming out this week. So make sure you subscribe to Return to the Old World's channel. Chuck it in the chat, mate. I'll put it in the description. Telly, appreciate that kind feedback, and Bincy as well. Thank you, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Liam, cheers for jumping on the show live and talking about the subject of today. Luke, thank you, mate, for a nice little setup. This set opposite each other.
That's good.
I might try this with Liam. It might get him to concentrate more.
I think so.
See how that goes.
Just put the microphone in his eye line over so he can't actually, if he wants to look at the thing, he's got to be like...
I'll be like, Liam, look at me. Wicked. All right, boys. Appreciate you all. We will join the Discord, become a member, like, subscribe, etc., etc. Thanks so much for watching.